watching the first episode of Friday Night Wives, brought to you in part by DeLozier and Aligned Insurance. And this is Rachel Smith,
Hello.
and she is the wife of Piedmont head coach Steve Smith. And if you don't know who that is, then I don't know what to tell you. You must be on the wrong channel. So, Miss Rachel, I know that you're expecting this to be one of those things where I go, what is it like to be married to the Steve Smith? But I'm not going to, because
Okay.
I want to know what it's like for the Steve Smith to be married to the Rachel.
What it's like for Steve to be married to me, I can be at times unpredictable.
No.
I like to shop too much. What else is it like to be married to me? I never really thought about that. I do have a little bit of a temper. I do have a
No.
little bit of a temper. I can be stubborn at times.
I don't believe it.
I'm admitting everything I know to be what it's like to be married to me. I'm very busy. Most likely will be found on a ball field. It's not often the football field. It's often the football or the ball field with dirt on it. So I'm at a lot of softball and baseball games, a lot of tournaments. I guess that's about it. I'm not as organized as he would like. He's the organized one in the family, and I'm the little bit more unorganized person. So,
But I feel like that's what balances people out, because
Mhm.
I know that there are days that Ben wants to pinch my head off, but like if I was not the way I am, we wouldn't do half the fun things that we do. And I feel like that would be Coach Smith. Like Coach Smith would be busy alphabetizing the rice-a-roni like by flavor, like broccoli
Yeah.
and cheese and rice pilaf.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you guys balance each other out.
yeah, you nailed it. He
super
likes the
good.
pantry to be organized, and if I don't organize it, he will organize it himself. So, yeah, you nailed it.
I love it. Who cleans out the refrigerator for leftovers?
He cleans out the refrigerator for leftovers, and if the refrigerator needs the mass cleansing, I do that. So,
Oh, see, so you guys do work.
Mhm.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
And so I want to know, you and Coach Smith were high school sweethearts.
Yes.
I really would love to dredge up the prom picture
I have that
and
somewhere.
post it.
I have that. I
somewhere.
will get that for you.
But now, was it your prom or was it his prom?
It was actually my senior high school prom that we went to. It was like 2 weeks before, and I really was not gonna. I was just gonna go stag. I didn't really want to ask him to take me. I really was just like, everybody's like, it's senior prom, you gotta go. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go, whatever. And but everybody found out I had a date, and they're like, Steve will take you. You just gotta ask him. And so I ended up asking him to take me, and like he's 4 years older than me, so he was already down at Jack State. And his buddies, I think, gave him a really hard time about that. I mean, they probably are still giving him a hard time about that, because he took me to prom, and I guess the rest is history. You gotta watch out who you take to prom, because you may end up marrying them. So.
Ooh. Ooh. Y'all be careful of that. I highly doubt that his friends are still making fun of him for that one. I feel like they're probably going, well, Steve had the right idea on that one. They're going to get time machines and start dating freshmen. Like, it could happen.
Yeah.
Back to the Future. And then you went on and played softball at Jack State.
Yes. I actually played my first 2 years at Gadsden State, and I was a JUCO transfer. Jana McGinnis was not the coach at Jacksonville State when I was coming out of high school. And so I ended up playing junior college at Gadsden State, and she did recruit me out of junior college to come play at Jack State, and so that's how I got there.
See, there it goes. And what year did you and Coach Smith get married?
We were married in July of 1997.
And I want the proposal story. Those are my favorite.
Oh my gosh. Well, I still give him down the road about this, because this was probably the most unromantic proposal that you'll ever hear about. There was this like crystal vase in his car, and it was just very odd. Like, and I noticed things, and he had brought it like in my house to pick me up, and we were going to a football game. I believe it was a Collinsville football game, and he brought it in my house, and it was just very odd. He brought the vase in and he gave it to my mother. And I was like, that is so random, you know? And I just kept asking, you know, I'm like, what in the world? And he said, well, I just bought something and they gave it to me. And I was like, you don't buy things, you know, because he doesn't buy things. And I just kept on and on and on about it all the way to Collinsville on the football game. I'm like, what did you spend money on that they gave you a vase? Because that is just so stupid. I think that's the dumbest thing ever. And finally, he's just like, here, you know, I bought this today because I want to know if I can marry you. And that was the proposal. So it kind of shut me up. And I did say yes, but it was not the proposal that I had really imagined, but it was a proposal nonetheless.
Did you get his original plan? Like, did he go, well, I was going to do this, but you ruined it?
No, I've never asked him about his original plan. I don't know that he had an original plan. I don't know how it was going to go down, but maybe he did. He is a planner, so I think I probably ruined it with my...
You ruined like a hot air balloon ride over Venice. Like, you done messed up.
Yeah, I ruined it.
And so. I get that because I'm that person. I'll be like, what is this? Like, you can't surprise me. Like, I actually asked Meg today, I said, has Ben planned anything for my birthday? And she had that blank stare like, your birthday's in like a month. Like, I'm like, well, I need to know because I'm about to order my own cake. Like, I will ruin things by shopping for myself.
Right.
I'm the world's worst.
Yeah.
So, Coach Smith, the Smith family, you guys are state champions. What is what would you say your favorite piece of jewelry that Coach Smith has ever brought home?
That would probably be the one that I'm wearing right now. That's our most recent state championship medallion, and I wanted to make sure I wore it for this interview, but it's probably the most special one. All of them have their own special qualities, but this one is special just because I think everybody kind of looked at that team as underdogs, and they overachieved. And that is a group of kids that I've been watching, you know, since we moved here. Those kids were, you know, in preschool when we moved here, and I've kind of watched them grow up, and I've watched them win at everything they've ever done. And I was not counting them out by no means during that game. I knew the kind of fight that those kids had in them, and also, you know, just to have Steve and my boys on the field, it was, you know, it was like a Cinderella dream moment that, you know, those are the things that you dream about.
Right.
And even more so than the dreaming proposal, that moment at Auburn with my family on the field and Steve and, you know, those kids that I've watched grow up from preschool, I mean, that was just the most amazing thing I've really ever witnessed. And I was really glad to be a part of that. So
I was there too. That's great. So I love to win, and I can honestly say that I feel like you might be one of the only people I've ever met that likes to win more than me. That's more like I'll push someone down to get to the car first. And I feel like you're like, well, I pushed my mother down to get to the car first.
I mean, I want to beat you, and then I want you to feel like that if you ever play me again, that you will have no chance.
I love it. Like, so don't play Rachel and Yahtzee because you ain't gonna win. Period. And so this leads me to my next question. I know the state championship is a big game. Do you have any of those weird juju sort of things where, like, oh my God, I wore these earrings or I wore this shirt to the game, so now I have to bring it back every game until it fails me?
Yeah. I used to be more superstitious about that kind of stuff. I had I had an NCAA championship ring that I wore to every game because I kind of felt like that brought me luck and that brought the team luck. And I wore, there's this certain pair of cowboy boots that I would wear to games. And I kind of get these attachments to things, you know, it's really weird. And I have had some weird juju things going on with jewelry and earrings, but I'm so intense at games, like the bottoms of my rings will flatten because I will clap so hard and get so intense about things. So I had to kind of really stop wearing nicer things on my hands at games because I was beating them to death. And now I just kind of bring my shaker. You know, I like having my shaker. I like having something that makes a lot of noise because I'm finding that my voice doesn't last as long, and so I have that. And the other thing that I think that keeps me from clinging to things is that I know the hearts and the insides and the guts of those guys that are out there. And so that more than anything is my security blanket, is that I know what those guys are made of, and I just believe in them. So,
well, and I also know because I have sat behind you, I've sat in front of you, I've sat beside you, and I have heard you. A lot of people tend to discredit women on football knowledge, but I have heard you be like, why are they in a shotgun? And it, like, the other, like, even other coaches' wives are looking going, no guns here. And have you always been that way, or is it just from hours and hours and hours of film with Coach Smith?
Yeah, it's a lot of learning from Steve because, Steve actually taught me a good bit about our own sport, my own sport, when we first started dating. That was one of the things that was a central component to probably our dating relationship, is that I was an athlete, and our conversations, I would walk away and I would think, man, I didn't think about that approach with that 1-2 count that he discussed with me. And those are a lot of things that applied to what I was doing at the time that, we'd get in really deep discussions about, strategy-wise with sports. And I'm thinking, this guy, he knows his stuff, And so from having those conversations like that over and over about football, which is what we've pretty much done since 1997 or before, I've just learned a lot from listening to him and watching games with him and having conversations with him, because I will question sometimes decisions that are made and why they're made, because that's just me. I'm competitive and I want to know why we did it this way. And he'll give me a good explanation, and I'm like, okay, good call.
I can honestly say in all of my years of Coach Smith being Coach Smith to me, like he has met, there's always been, if I had the nerve to say why, there's a great answer. And I don't think, honestly, I don't think that I ever have asked it to his face. Like, I think that it may have been like in passing, like, oh, why? And he was like, because, and I'm okay,
yeah,
let's do that. Like, and so when you guys got to Piedmont, this, like, I didn't think about this until my mom pointed out, but Coach Smith actually coached your brother.
Yes.
How fun was that? Like,
yes.
Did that make, like, awkward, like, hey, I heard you had to run gashers today?
Well, I probably, like you, beat the crap out of my brother any chance I got.
Yes.
Even though I'm 14 years older than Richard, I still relish in the fact that he needed the crap beat out of him, so I did so.
Brothers do.
Yeah. And so anytime that my brother got punishment from any source, it was always great. And it was especially great if I could hear about it from Steve, because deep down, it makes them better, right? So, yeah, it was neat. I love the fact that Richard got to play for Steve. I think he transferred here. I think it was his junior year, and ended up getting to play for Steve for a couple years. And I think, I'm not speaking, I haven't ever heard Richard say this, but I think it was probably one of the better decisions that he made. But I remember Richard as the little kid who, would run and try to headbutt Steve when he tried to pick me up for dates and stuff. That was what happened. So I can remember that, and I'm sure that's what Steve remembers. So, but when it's on the field and you're in that white line and you're trying to win a ball game, you have a different attitude.
So that actually leads me to my next question, though. Planning holidays as a head football coach's wife, because Piedmont does Thanksgiving, like it's kind of one of those things where all of our extended family doesn't expect to see us, because we expect that we're going to have Thanksgiving with the Bulldogs and then do a walkthrough.
Right.
So how has that been, always having to plan around? To me it's worth it. I know to you it's even like you'd have cheeseburgers with the Bulldogs on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, most definitely. in the beginning, we just considered it a special circumstance, where, we don't know if we'll ever get to do this again. This is neat. We want to spend time with our team, especially if we're making a deep run in the playoffs. And it's pretty much become commonplace now that we do that. And I just consider that special time with my other family. I love those guys, and they love us. And there's not a single one of them that would not be welcome at our house or at any point during the year, not just Thanksgiving. So I just love spending any amount of time that I can get with them, because Steve spends a lot of time with them. I don't get to spend that much with them. But that's always been special. And our other family, I guess our real family, they just kind of know that if it's Thanksgiving night, we're probably not going to make it. So
we're going
it's
to be
Thanksgiving dinner. If it's Thanksgiving lunch, we'll be there. But Thanksgiving night, we're probably going to be in the cafeteria with the Bulldogs.
I love it. And have you ever, is that just a Piedmont thing? Because did you guys do that anywhere else? Or
I think we did it maybe 1 or 2 times at Cedar Bluff, if I'm not mistaken. I know we did it once at Cedar Bluff. I can't remember if we did it another time, but I think we did it there too.
Because I tend to get Piedmont starstruck and be like, "That's a Piedmont thing," and people are like, "Thanksgiving happens everywhere." And I'm like, oh. Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. Not just Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I just love that you guys have been. How many years has it been now?
Well, I just remember it by the birthing of children. So I know that I was very pregnant when we moved here in December with Savannah, and so Savannah will be 15 in March. So it's been close to 15 years that we've been here.
Well, and you've gone from being a coach's wife to having your own Piedmont Bulldogs team.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to coach Savannah. Mm-hmm. So Coach Smith gets to coach the boys, and you get to coach the only girl, the baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
How is that?
That's been very special. Of course, all my teams have had a special place in my heart, but I think when you're spending time with other children, and that time is spent away from your own children, you can't help but feel a little bit guilty, because you're out there and you're spending time trying to make this group of young people get better, at this skill. And I was always wondering, okay, what are my 3 kids doing right now while I'm at practice?
Right.
Are they doing something to get better? Are they getting their homework? I hope that they're doing something to get better. And if they haven't done something to get better, then after practice is over, we're going to make them get better. Because I always kind of felt like I had to even out my time. And a lot of times by the time practice is over and you've drunk the field and got everything ready, you're so tired you just want to go home and eat, and then you go to bed and you feel guilty because you haven't done anything with your kids. So now that she's in the program, that's really special, because I get to spend some time with her now and invest in her and all the other girls that are with her. So it's special for that reason.
That's great. I love it. And I thought about it earlier today, and this may be, I know that my mom, will hop in the car on Friday night, and there are certain songs that she'll hear, and she'll be like, "We're going to win tonight." Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, "Why?" Just Bon Jovi was on the radio. Do you have any of those little, Friday night on the way to the game, or any, pre-game rituals?
No, I can't think of any pregame rituals. At Piedmont, we like to go out and tailgate behind the visitor side bleachers at the trailer, where everybody brings really good food. That's one of my favorite rituals. I don't really have anything that I do per se that I have to do before the game, but I just enjoy eating good food and then screaming for the Bulldogs.
Same, friend. Same. Well, Miss Rachel, I so appreciate this. Oh, pause. You guys need to know that there are cats here. And while the cats are not down here, cats thrill my soul. Mm-hmm. And who's the cat that I was loving on black cat?
The black cat, his name is Binks.
Binks.
Yes. Yeah, he was a shelter kitty, and he's kind of new. We've probably had him maybe 6, 7, 8 months around in there, and he's really sweet though. And then the other cat you saw was his name is Gus, and Gus is a kind of a fluffy ragdoll cat. He's been here probably close to 6 years.
So now I follow Gus on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, what's Gus doing today?
Yeah.
Nothing. Gus is doing nothing.
Yeah,
If you want to know.
Gus is really good at just sleeping a lot. So
That's Gus. So I have a couple of just either ors. Are
Okay.
you cats or dog?
Cat.
Same. Winter or fall or
Fall.
summer.
Well, summer. I hate the cold. Like, I hate the cold. Like, I could live on the equator and be perfectly happy. So if the hotter the better.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
NFL or college?
College.
Who is your NFL team?
My
I know you guys are Alabama.
I pull for the Falcons of the NFL.
We've been to a Falcons game together.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
Facebook world, YouTube, what's up? So that was a fun time, and I personally feel like maybe we should do that again.
Yeah, we definitely.
We should do that
Yes.
again.
Yes.
We'll call those turf people right up and tell them that we're coming.
Mm-hmm.
They'll clear out a box. It's us, we're coming. So okay, I had a few more either ors. And now I'm drawing a blank on them.
Okay.
So, it's just one of those things. We've done our cats or dogs, we've done our Coke or Pepsi. We've done our season. Or you've already said you're a shopper. I was gonna say, are you a shopper or a saver, but that.
I'm a shopper. If you don't believe me, just ask Steve. So.
What's your favorite store?
Probably Amazon, because I don't have to go anywhere to get my stuff. But if I had to think of a department store, TJ Maxx is probably my favorite store.
So then you're a savvy. You're a
Yeah.
savvy shopper.
Yeah.
Savvy spender.
Yes.
Now I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can get behind that. See, guys, just because you spend money doesn't mean that you're just blowing it. So if you have anything to say to like new coaches' wives coming in, because I know it's a different, like I hate to, like I would never discredit anyone else's career choice, but this is one of those things where a coach he's a coach at school, he's a coach at home, you've got film. I know that Coach Smith said he has a no football on Saturday rule. I don't believe it. I don't think that's true. I think Coach Smith is always doing something football related. So do you have any advice for new coaches' wives?
Yeah, I do. If you ever wonder what is going on for that amount of time at the field house, because I think in the first part of our marriage, I was like, what in God's name could they be doing for this amount of time? Because I can think about preparing for a game, but hindsight being 2020, and now that I know all of the particulars of game planning, take their word for it, ladies, because if they're putting in the time, that means they're getting prepared. The other thing that I would tell you is know that, if they're going to be good and be good at what they do, they have to spend a lot of time doing it. I mean, if you're a doctor and you're a good doctor, you have to expect to work some long hours, or if you're a good salesman, you're going to expect to work some long hours. Same thing with football coaches. You have to, it's not an 8 to 5 job.
Right.
The other thing I would say is to make sure that you got a toolbox with, a good drill, a good hammer, a good screwdriver, and you get to know how to use it, because you need to know how to fix your stuff at your house, and you don't need to be waiting on your husband to come home and do it.
And he'll get to it in December.
Yeah. So learn how to use a toolbox.
Yeah. What is it that they say? I wish my wife would stop nagging me. She asked me about it 6 months ago, and I'll get it done. I feel like that's
and
all right.
and Steve's a really hard worker, when he's here. It's just if he's not here, if he's at the field house or if he's doing something else, then it's hard to do things. So I just rather get it done and get it out of the way and stop thinking about it, move on to the next thing.
So is this where, if you could go back in time and go catch, high school Rachel outside of her locker at CCHS, and you said, hey girl, let me tell you something. Is this the life that you thought you'd be leading, or I mean, does it get any better
Well,
than being married to a winner?
It doesn't. I mean, I know this is the life I wanted to live. You know, this was the life that, you know, I thought would be possible. You know, if we could manage to stay together long enough to get married and make it work. And so far we have. And that's it.
I love it. Well, Miss Rachel, thank you so much. I so appreciate it. Thank you for being our first Friday Night Live. You have a little trailblazer there.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm glad to do it.
I so appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. And again, you guys, this is the first of many Friday Night Live segments coming from Average Joe Sports Talk, and this is brought to you by Michael DeLozier and Aligned Insurance Company. So thank you guys. We'll catch you next week.